right, a couple things before we get started. One, I didn't mean to send the one about, I sent some messages for students who had missing work. I didn't mean to send the 2 truths and a lie because you all turned that in paper, so it automatically shows that that was missing because you didn't technically turn something in unless you were one of the few people who did like the Google form and submitted it that way. But if you turn in the paper copy and you have points, don't worry about it. Trying to think what else. Oh, and then I think I might have done it for today's assignment as well. So if you got the thing that we're doing today, don't worry about it. Yeah, and I know some people had also messaged me about I had accidentally had the due date wrong because again, I'm still getting used to this block schedule like you guys are because I'm used to 1 through 5, 2, 4, 6. So I had your due dates on different days for my first period class, and so I fixed that. So if you ever see any issues like that, please let me know so that way I can fix it. So that way I don't have, like, you guys don't all end up with zeros or anything. So I just want to make sure that you guys know I did take care of that. But yeah, so is there any other issues with like the notifications that I sent out that you guys have questions about, or any questions in general about anything related to what's been sent out in the last couple of days? You guys good otherwise? Yes? Okay, cool. All right. I noticed a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but there was a pretty decent chunk of people who didn't finish their Biafra annotations in my first period. Really quick, how many of you still need to finish the annotations? Just show of hands. Okay. Yeah, so about a little less than half, but still a decent amount. So here's what I'm going to do. Because obviously not everybody is finished, but if you're not done with your annotations, I want you to do that during the warm-up and type in the warm-up that you were finishing annotation, so that way I know you didn't just skip it, you know? But I want you guys to work on the annotations. If you are done with the annotations, answer these questions. So what part of Biafra was confusing to you? Okay, if there's multiple parts. What do you think happened in the story with Arroyo? And then your opinions. Now, I'm not going to do this every time you guys have homework. I'm not going to let you guys skip the warm-up to do that. But again, I do want to make sure that we are done. So I'm going to give you guys probably about, I don't know, like 10 minutes to finish up. Most of you were, I would say, at least halfway, if not finished 2 days ago. And again, it has been 2 days. So we just need to do a little bit better job. My number one complaint I heard last year is that, oh, I'm checked out because we're online. We're not online anymore, so we need to be checked back in, okay? So please make sure that we're here. We need to be doing the work. If you guys have been getting questions about the work, don't just ignore it. Send me a remind message, and I'll respond to you as quick as I can. Most people who have responded to me or on remind or email can attest that I usually try to get back fairly quickly, or at least I try to get back to them as soon as I can. So please make sure that you guys are taking advantage of that. So again, if you're not done with the annotations, you're doing that. If you are done, you're doing this. Yes?
So the second question has been created. What do you think happened in the story with the character?
Right.
And what do you mean in the end or in the middle?
Oh, I kind of left it open so you guys could, like, if it's like something, the part that you were confused about, you can talk about that part. If you want to talk about the ending, you can talk about the ending. So it's dealer's choice, basically. Okay. And you should be free now. If I deleted first of all, it's Flipgrid won't work on the app, so you're gonna have to use the website, okay? So just make sure you're doing that, okay? And I think it should only show one assignment if you go to the website too, so if not, they'll let me know. Okay.
So do you want me to focus on first?
This one, because this is the one we're focusing on this week. I know you're here. So this is a story that we've been reading, so obviously I'll give you some time to catch up on it. Were you here for this one or no? Okay. So this was from last week, this was from this week, so I would suggest like kind of ignoring what we're doing today and just like start on last week and just try to get caught up, okay? Yeah, you're doing this, or you're turning in your invitation to work on it.
If we did the last one, video.
Yep, video or pictures, either way.
Which one do you prefer?
It doesn't matter, whatever's easiest for you guys. Those of you who are still working on your annotations, I'm gonna give you guys 5 more minutes to finish. If you're done with the warm-up, you guys could find something else to work on, but you guys are good if you're done with everything. Okay. All right, you guys should be pretty close to being done. Make sure that it gets submitted. So that way you guys can get credit for it, even though it was due last night. Obviously, you'll only lose 2% if you turn it in today. That's how my late work policy goes. So, but we do need to move on. So here's what we're going to be doing. So you're going to be creating your own story, but the catch is that it's not just like write literally whatever you want. I mean, technically the story can be about anything. The only rule is that you guys have to use elements of magic realism in your story. So it has to be grounded in reality, but there will be some sort of like magical element that occurs or some unnatural thing that happens. But I want to make sure that we talk about the magic realism Biafra first, so that way maybe it'll spark some ideas for you for your own story. So here are the examples of magic realism in the story we just read. When Arroyo begins to fly, she's above the smoke, the blood, the violence in Nigeria. But what it's doing, the reason why this was included by the author wasn't just randomly like, oh, I'm just going to have my character start flying for no apparent reason. The reason was it was kind of showing how she was trying to separate herself from the violence that was going on. It was like a way of exaggerating how much she was like separate from what was happening. Even though she was physically there, she was still trying to like mentally like separate herself from everything that was happening. So you can argue that she really is flying. I mean, obviously there was like moments where she should have like died, but her ability to fly like kind of saves her. So you could make the argument that she really is flying. But you could also say that it was just a metaphor for how she felt like felt like separated from everybody. And she like learns to like connect with people as the story goes on. But the thing with magic realism, it's good that we don't know if it's real or not. That's the point. It's basically just to make the reader think, is this really happening? So I'll give you an example from my last class. One student, she was going to write about like how her character is able to talk to people who are dead. And so that ability, obviously, so I told her like, that's cool, but you want to make sure that it's kind of like, is she really able to talk to them, or is she just imagining that she's talking to them? So it's like, is it really happening? Is it not happening? So you want to make the reader try and feel that way if you can. So what I'm going to have you all do is we're going to be looking in the story that we've been reading, and we're going to look at the setting, because the setting is really important for magic realism because it has to be realistic. So for example, your stories, it should be taking place either in the present or maybe like recent past. I would argue not to do future. If you're going to do the future, I would do no more than like a couple of years. You don't want it to be 100 years in the future, or else it might not seem realistic. And then the thematic event. So does everybody know what a theme is? So yeah. You've talked about it like since like 7th, 6th grade. So a theme is what?
The message that the author's trying to get across.
Yeah, so it's just a life message. It's a basic way to look at it. So a thematic event is an event that occurs in the story that kind of helps see that theme. It helps show what that message is. And in magic realism, a lot of times it's going to be, again, the moment where the unnatural thing occurs. So the rest of your story, again, should be grounded in reality minus the thematic event. Everything else should be realistic. Okay, so in Canvas, there's a Google Doc. There's 2 assignments that look really similar. One says Biafra, the building blocks of MR. The second assignment is your story, the building blocks of MR. And MR is magic realism. So you're going to go to the one that says Biafra, and then there's going to be a link to a Google Doc that's going to make a copy of that document for you. And that's where you're going to type your answers for this assignment. It only needs to be 1 or 2 sentences for each question. I'm not asking you to like find textual evidence. I mean, you should reference the story, but try to be specific, because for my first period class, I did have to, especially for the 3rd and 4th question, I actually had to return the assignment to a lot of people, because as I was looking through them, some people were really vague. They were like saying like, the magic was good because it showed how she felt. Cool, what does that mean? So be a little bit more specific. How did she feel? Even if you just tell me that, like, how did she feel? What, you know, just don't tell me she felt something. I need to know what the something is. And then number 4 has multiple questions. So interpret the magical moment in the story. Why does the character do this? And there's a couple of parts that you can use. I would say probably one part of the story would be easiest to talk about, but think about how this contributes to the theme of the story. So you need to make sure that you're addressing all of this and not just like one part. So I would say this one will probably be 2 sentences. I think everything else you could probably get away with 1 sentence. But anyways, so go ahead, open up this doc, work on this. Again, you don't need to find quotes. You might want to look at the story to get some ideas though. So. You got it? You're good. Okay. So what did you say for number 3? Okay, so now we need to analyze that. That's what we're doing for number 4. So like, why did the character do this? What did we learn about the character from it, basically? What does it show about her? We kind of talked about it before, so it's like we were looking to kind of like we're talking about her kind of separate herself. That's basically what you're doing, and then like, so why would she kind of separate herself, and then why, like, what is the author trying to show us, like, okay, this is what happens when you separate yourself from someplace you care about. What is it like, you know, what's the negative thing about that? That's all right. Okay, really quick, show of fingers, what question are we on? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Okay. A little bit of a range, but it looks like we're most of us are at least halfway, if not like close enough. So that's good. So as you guys finish them, please submit them. That way I can go back and look, just make sure that we're on the right track. And if you're good, I'll give you your automatic pin basically. If I need you to make some changes, I'll return the assignment to you and let you know why. And our McDonald's slow.
Generally, function more efficiently, which makes accomplishing your work goals easier. My GPA went from a 3.0 to 3.94 the year I started this.
Alright, so far I got 5 people who submitted and they're all good, so thank you. Anybody else having internet issues at all, or not too much? Just me? Cool. Okay, I'm up to 9 people submitted. The first 5 got all 10s. I'm going through the next 4 that I have, and I have 1 person so far who needs to make a couple of changes. So just make sure you're double checking your responses. Take a few more minutes. You guys should be wrapping up. Kayla? I thought for my last period too, for people to go after the break, so. You just go to the assignment. You're gonna 10 out of 10, so there's no comments, so you're good. Making sure you can wake up. We're all done with here. Okay. Did you like turn it in yet? Go get this picture or video, go through the paper. You saw that I did a big like under score, right? I did a big after like.
The one from last,
Yeah.
that we did the video. We have this.
For this one, for my class or different class? Yeah, it doesn't work on the app. That's why I've been saying since day one, don't use the app. No, I wasn't lying to you guys. It doesn't work with everything. That's why I had you guys make a little shortcut and everything to the website, because it doesn't work with everything. It's glitchy and okay. so we're gonna go ahead and move on. If you're not done, you can, after I get you guys started on the next part, I still need you guys to finish this. It looks like most people are done with this, so good job. A lot less people in here had to redo it than my last class, so another good job on that, so thank you. Maybe I just explained it better to you guys, maybe you're just better than them, I don't know, I'll let you decide. But what we're gonna be doing is the exact same thing. But the difference is your story versus the story we just did. So,
What do you mean by versus?
versus, what do you think versus?
You said,
Oh, versus means just like against. Okay, so, yeah.
so like, are you supposed to make a story?
Yep, so what you're gonna be doing is you're creating a story. It can be literally about anything. I don't care what the topic is. The only rule that I have, like I said, it has to be under the guidelines of magic realism. So when you're thinking of it, so today we're gonna be brainstorming. If we have time after the brainstorming, you can start on it. But all we're doing tomorrow is working on our story. And normally we meet outside, by the way, but we are gonna be meeting inside tomorrow because it's supposed to be like stupid hot tomorrow, so we're gonna be inside. So, but anyway, so for number one, what is the setting of your story? So where does it take place? When does it take place? Like I said, try to keep it, more contemporary times. Don't like go into the future and stuff. Again, if you want to do like a few years ahead when maybe you're like, like out of high school, that's fine. But just like don't like have, laser guns and stuff like that don't exist. What is the theme of your story? What message do you want people to take away from your story? What do you want to tell people? Like, it could be like social commentary. It could be political commentary if you want to go like that far. It could be commentary about just like relationships with people, whatever you want it to be. So I don't care what the message is. You just need to have some sort of message to it. What is going to be the thematic event? So the magical event that occurs that adds to the message of your story. So again, looking back at Biafra, when she's flying above everybody, she's trying to separate herself from everybody. So how she's able to connect with people is an important thing that the author wants people to be aware of. If you try to separate yourself, then you're gonna not like have as fulfilling a life. So, that's one of the messages that you could have taken away from the previous story, right? So that moment of her separating herself and realizing that she shouldn't be flying away from everything, from all of her problems, that she needs to like face her problems, that's something that, again, adds to the message of the story. And then number 4 is basically, I kind of blended 3 and 4 together, but that's essentially what it is. So what is the event, and then the interpretation of that event? Why did that add to your message? Okay, so this is probably going to take a little longer because obviously you have to think about what your story is going to be. You have to like kind of figure out like all of this. So if you need to take time, if you need to talk to people around you, again, I'm not going to like bite your head off if you guys try to talk to one another, okay? You guys can talk to the people around you, that's fine. But yeah, so like if you need to like bounce ideas off the people next to you, maybe you're like stuck on something, or just like, hey, does this sound stupid if I do this? Or what would be a better way for me to like accomplish this goal? Again, a lot of writers don't just sit like, there's always the idea that writers will like lock themselves in a room for hours or days or whatever and just write. That's not how most writers write by talking. They talk about their story first. They bounce, again, ideas off their friends, their family. It's like, hey, I think I'm gonna do this. What do you think of this? So rather than just saying like, I'm gonna like put all of my ideas because I have the best ideas in the world on paper. Sometimes they take ideas from other people too. It's like, oh, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna use that in my story. So again, feel free to talk. That's totally fine. If for some reason tomorrow when you go to write, maybe you have other ideas later, you turn this in today and you say, you know what, actually I'm gonna change the setting, or I'm gonna make a tweak to my message or the event that happens. That's okay. This is brainstorming. You don't have to be married to this idea. You can come up with an idea today and have a better one tomorrow, or make an alteration to it, or do a complete 180 where it's completely different from what you thought of today. That's fine. So I don't want you guys to feel like you have to stick to this plan if this plan doesn't work for you, okay? Okay, so the one other thing though that I want to show that this one doesn't have a dot. So if you haven't done a text submission, and like I was telling a couple of students, use the website. The website is much better. That's why I showed you how to make the little shortcuts. You wouldn't have to type it in every time. Let's reload. Okay. So I'm gonna go to student view so that way you guys can see how to do it. So again, this one doesn't have a doc. So all you have to do is really easy. You just click start assignment for a text entry box to appear, and you just type your answers right there. So you don't have to create a doc or anything. The only reason why a lot of times I'll have you create a separate doc, especially for like longer assignments, is if this disappears, you could lose all of your work. As opposed to if you were writing an essay and you were 2 paragraphs in and then it reloaded, you could lose that. Whereas on a Google Doc, it'll save everything. So, but for something short like this, sometimes I'll do these text entry ones, but that's how you do it. So just click start assignment, type your answers. Again, just 4 answers, just like the last one. And that's pretty much it. Any questions about what you're doing? We all good? All right. Remember, we get out at 12:35. So again, if you do finish early, which some of you will, you can get started, start a new doc, and start typing your story out. I would say your story is probably going to be about 1.5 pages. So not nothing crazy. It's not going to be like a multi-chapter, like lengthy epic or anything like that. So just very short story. 1.5 pages, I would say tops. So, but we'll be working on that tomorrow. But just if you do finish early, get started if you can. I think that beneficially work. Just remember with magic realism, you want to be kind of keep it almost a mystery. Like, is it really happening? If you imagine it, so that sort of thing. So I think that's a cool idea. That's the one that you're turning in. That's the first one we did. The one where you turn in the Google Doc. Wait. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, sorry. And then you just type it in there. I see a lot of like low energy. So here's what we're gonna do. I was already kind of toying around with this idea, but just kind of looking, everybody's like, people are like half passed out. One person I thought was dead for a little bit, but, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a walk. We're gonna leave our stuff here. We're gonna go walk outside. We're gonna walk to the science building, the 100 building, and we're gonna walk back, because I just think we need to like have some movement. We're not gonna like run or anything so like that. I'm not pretending to be like a PE teacher or anything, believe me, I know I don't have the physique for that, but you know, we're just gonna go take a quick walk. Welcome back, you're in time for a walk. We're gonna go walk to the science building, we're gonna come back. So leave your stuff here, I'm gonna lock the door so nothing will happen to it.
Leaving the live stream on. Please leave the live stream on.
Oh, no, it's fine. Because you're going so fast.
I didn't notice.
You're just like breakneck speeds, and then Scrunchy flew off.
It's a habit from elementary school and middle school. Everybody had long legs.
So you gotta like keep up with them. Okay, we're good.
Is it possible to like compassion letters?
Yeah. What's it?
Oh yeah, I was just, well, I was like doing that, but I was thinking.
Okay.
So practical number 4 is like asking the same questions as 2 and 3.
It's like a combination. How does this fit into that, basically? How does this event fit into your message?
Which one is it?
Turn it into, let me see. Turn it into the second one. Yeah.
In cameras or?
Yeah, but you have to use the app or the website because the app doesn't work with Flipgrid.
Okay.
Sorry. All right, 10 more minutes. Again, if you are finished with both Biafra and your story building block assignments, then you should be starting your story, at least like maybe getting a head start on it for tomorrow.
I like those. What? What's your grade? It's super fun. Wish I'd gone at the top. Gone at the top.
So again, about your story, the one that was supposed to be about Biafra. Did you do the one about Biafra or no? So answering these 4 questions is about Biafra? Okay.
Oh, that one I think is good too.
Yeah, so make sure you turn it into the right assignment, okay? Thank you.
She dies. Why sure it was. That's good. What'd you do with your last one? Which one?
Or the, yeah, or
No, it's called number 4.
Yeah, so that one. Yeah.
I want to know.
All right, you guys go ahead and start packing up. I do notice some people are still missing their assignment from the one that was about Biafra that should have been done about, frankly, 20 minutes ago. So just make sure that these 2 assignments are done today, okay? If you have questions, let me know.
Does it say right here? I took off or-
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it does, but I would like copy it at least, you know, so that way you can paste it later. You can even like paste it in a doc just so you have it. All right, so I did play a song since we have extra time for first period, and I'm gonna do the same for you guys. So we're slightly up here, so I'm just kind of checking this real quick. For a big, I'm just trying to change it. So I'll occasionally randomly play songs for you guys. Most of it is punk rock because that's kind of like what I grew up on. That's what I listen to is punk rock mostly. So I'm gonna play a song from one of my favorite bands called Realism. So here we go. The story of it all is that it's never living. Hold the step of thorn, you can congregation. While they gave a wicked inspiration of brothers. This is what he said, you live for loving. You live for loving. You live for loving. I can't relate to you, girl. I can't relate to you. Once a kind of guy, always going out of his way. But when we both get emotions, I take you to his head. We'll be perpetuated like a statue. I want to know if I can feel it when he said you live for loving. You live for loving. You live for loving. I can't relate to you, girl. I can't relate to you. And grab yourself a neighbor's down trying to be apart. You know that I'm filled with regret. So till we all forget, we never met. Know my name, feel like a friend, for a man in his grave. I won't deny that I'm in touch with the negative of loving. You were loving, you were loving. I can't relate to you. I can't relate to you. I can't relate to you. I can't relate to you.
It's hard to sing and play at the same time.
A little bit, and also too, I normally have what's called a capo here, but I don't have it, so that's okay. So I was playing in a different key than I'm used to playing it, but yeah, I also haven't been playing at all for like, because we've been moving and stuff, so I haven't played in the last like, probably like 3 or 4 months. Today was like the first day I've played in a long time. But anyways, so yeah, just for fun. All right, have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.